Okay, so we're here with Katie Kurtz of Walk Bike Glendale and Colin Bogart of LACBC. Hi.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good.
Or good afternoon. Well, thanks for having us, Nick. My name is Colin Bogart. I'm the Education Director for the LACBC, LA County Bicycle Coalition, and we're pre-recording this program today for the second Saturday of the month. Second Saturday means LACBC Day on BikeTalk here at Kill Radio, KPFK on the podcast. And as you mentioned, in the studio with me right here is Katie Kurtz, who is the co-chair of Walk Bike Glendale. Hello, Katie.
Hi, Colin.
How you feeling today?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I think we're all working on getting rid of some cold, except for Nick. You're a healthy boy,
Yeah.
and we're happy for you. So today we're gonna talk about Walk Bike Glendale and all the cool stuff that's going on in Walk Bike Glendale. But we thought we'd start off with a quick little history lesson, if that's what you want to call it. Just to give you a little bit of history, the LACBC in 2008 got a grant with the city of Glendale from the LA County Department of Public Health to do a project from their PLACE program, in fact, Policies for Livable, Active Communities and Environments.
That's a mouthful.
It is. And we got a grant to work with the city of Glendale to make some changes in the city of Glendale to get it walking and biking more, and to encourage activity through built environment, and specifically to create some policies that would support that. And in fact, what we were able to do over the course of about a 3-year project was we created a planning document called the Safe and Healthy Streets Plan. It was a broad, overarching document that provided guidance for policies to encourage walking and biking, and it covered all the 5 E's, basically, which, if you're wondering, the 5 E's would be engineering, encouragement, education, evaluation, and see, this is the cold medicine kicking in. No.
Engineering.
Encouragement. Oh, enforcement. Enforcement. That's an important E. So anyway, the document covered policies that fulfilled all of those areas towards encouraging more walking and biking in the city of Glendale. And we were able to complete that planning document and have it formally adopted by the city in about April of 2011. So we considered the whole project a success. The other big success, however, that came out of that project, and the part that I'm personally most proud of, having been involved in this project from the start, pretty much, is that from the project that we did in Glendale grew our Glendale chapter, now known as Walk Bike Glendale, which, Katie, you are a co-chair of now.
I am a co-chair. Yeah.
And you've been involved with Walk Bike and Glendale now for, what, 2-3 years?
Yeah,
something like that?
probably since the beginning, so
Since
2 years.
Yeah, pretty early on.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, I remember seeing you showing up in the early stages of Walk Bike Glendale when the city was also working on its bike master plan, which had not revised.
That's right.
That was the other thing that came out of the Safe and Healthy Streets project in Glendale, is the city of Glendale had not revised its bicycle master plan since the late 90s. It had been quite some time, and as a result, they were also, because they had not revised it and hadn't really implemented a whole lot of it, they had not received any funding for bike projects in a long time, because the requirements used to be that you had to do a revised bike master plan something like every 5 years in order to get access to what was then called bicycle transportation account funds with the state of California. Now I'm getting really wonky. Sorry. I'm getting really wonky. But anyway, the point is that we're very happy that the project that we were doing in Glendale got the city talking about the fact that they needed to update their plan,
Right.
which they did, and they've been implementing various projects. So Katie's here. Basically, we're here to talk about what's been going on in Glendale as of late, And what's Walk Bike Glendale up to, and what's in the future
Sure.
for Walk Bike Glendale? So where do you want to start, Katie?
Well, Colin, let's see. Maybe I'll start where you left off in terms of how Walk Bike Glendale grew out of the Safe and Healthy Streets plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe just do a little bit about our successes over the last year and what's coming up. And then I think we have in the queue a few of our Walk Bike Glendale steering committee members to interview.
Terrific.
Including Eric Yasayan, who was one of the founding members of the chapter, and how I got involved. I met Eric on the street in Montrose as he was leading these Tuesday night rides that would go really late and do really fun, crazy things. Every Tuesday night, we'd go somewhere in the city from Glendale. We'd meet up in Glendale and go somewhere. And I actually just met a group of cyclists up in Montrose thinking, what the heck is this? In Montrose, there's a big group of cyclists.
Who are these people?
Who are these people? And, Eric introduced himself to me, and then we were off. We were off on creating a group of committed folks and trying to organize those folks to support different types of things in the city, including events and canvassing and putting pressure on the city to make sure that the bike infrastructure plan actually got implemented and all kinds of stuff. And so I think it was Eric that really worked with you, Colin, in getting us to be a official chapter of the LA County Bike Coalition. So since then, we've been doing some really exciting things. I actually just wanted to make it clear where Glendale is, first of all.
For those who are listening who maybe don't know.
Exactly.
Good point. So tell us, Katie, where is Glendale?
Glendale. So Glendale is actually right between Eagle Rock, which is right next to Pasadena. Pasadena is kind of a place where most people throughout LA know, or even the Southern California region know.
There's this little thing called the Rose Bowl there.
The Rose Bowl is
among
in
other things.
Pasadena, yeah.
Yes.
So Glendale's a couple of cities over, and then we're also right up against Burbank, where the Disney studios are. I think Disney, right?
And the Tonight Show and many other things.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
got
So
it.
a lot of that stuff happens in Burbank.
Just a wee bit north of downtown LA as well.
Yes.
Just to give everybody sort of an idea.
Exactly.
It's a suburb.
It is a suburb.
It's a suburb of Los Angeles. It's the third largest city in LA County
That makes sense, yeah.
after Long Beach.
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And we're hilly. That's one thing to note about bike infrastructure in Glendale is that we have certain considerations when it comes to biking throughout the city, like leisurely, because I live up in Montrose area and we're kind of at the top of the hill, so we do a lot of we do a lot of bike bus combos to kind of.
So just so people who are not
get
familiar,
ourselves-
Montrose is in the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains?
Gabriel Valley, yeah.
San Gabriel Mountains. So basically, Glendale, the north end of Glendale, touches on the foothills of San Gabriel Mountains, which is Angeles Crest Forest. So,
Exactly.
so the north end of Glendale is higher than the south end.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Nick, did you have a question?
Yeah, is Occidental in Glendale?
Occidental is not in Glendale, and as an Occidental graduate, I know this.
But it's a stone's throw away.
It is kind of a stone's throw away. It's probably, it's a 20-minute bike ride from where I live up in northern Glendale, so it's not far at all.
Okay.
And for her, it's downhill
It's
on the way
well,
to
yeah.
school. On the way back, not so much.
Not so much.
Got it.
20
Okay.
minutes, not so much.
All right.
I'm getting it.
Yeah, so that's Glendale. People have an idea of Glendale now.
Yes.
It's also home of the Glendale Galleria, which a lot of people...
True.
Frankly-
Glendale Galleria, Americana.
Yeah.
Oh,
those are
Americana
big
has
attractions.
bike parking, by the way, for those of you that... It's true.
Valet.
They have bike valet.
I know.
Did you
At the
have
Americana.
anything to do with that?
No. No, I don't think Walk
No.
Bike Glendale had anything
No,
to
they
do
just
with
sort
it.
of did it. They just sort of did it, but it's not widely known.
Well, yeah, it is not widely known,
It is
which
not
is a
widely
little
known. But anyway,
unfortunate.
We digress.
It's true.
So we've gotten everybody situated with the location of Glendale.
Sort of how the Walk by Glendale chapter came to be. So I'll just head into some of the accomplishments that we've had for the last year.
I'd love to hear them.
Mostly, and I do want to give a healthy shout out to Ryberg, who is nestled in his home in Montrose this afternoon. And he has done a lot of work this last year to really make a lot of what I'm about to talk about happen. But I call myself co-chair, but I say that I'm like 15 to 20% co-chair, and Rye is most of the chairhood. So healthy shout out to Rye, although I know that he is not. He's a little shy when it comes to talking about this stuff.
I see.
Sometimes.
All right.
So he put me in front of the microphone to to list out all the cool stuff that's happened.
Let's hear it.
All right. So Walk by Glendale for the last year, we've done a lot of events. A few of the events that we did, one of the signature ones actually that we did was partnering with the Rotary Club up in Glendale, and both Rye and myself, actually, Rye mostly planned the routes, along with Eric, I think. And then we partnered with the Rotary Club to lead the ride for families, children and families. And then there was a nice ride that went up, to Dickmagen Park. That's right. There was a super difficult.
This was a crazy hilly ride with lots of elevation gain for much more advanced riders.
Thank you,
Colin. So
Colin.
there was basically two rides. There was a family ride and an advanced ride.
That's right.
And this was a fundraiser with the Rotary Club.
That's right. It was a fundraiser. The Rotary Club raised about $15,000.
Wow, nice.
So it was a nice partnership, and I do believe that we'll be doing that again this year. So
excellent. Do you know roughly when?
Jewel City Ride, I want to say was in June. I do not know roughly when, but I will find out. And before the show is over.
So somewhere in the next 6 months.
Yes, somewhere.
We'll leave it at that for right now.
Somewhere in the next 6 months.
People can always check the Walk by Glendale website.
It's true.
Okay.
So that was one really great partnership.
And that was the first time you did that with them, right?
Yeah, it was the first time they did it.
Oh, well, there we go. First time for everybody.
Yeah, it was the first time they did it. And it was really fun to get to know the Rotary folks. Because not everyone in the Rotary Club is a cyclist, And so they were really interested and hungry to learn about, rules of the road and routes and all of those kinds of things, and how cycling in Glendale is growing, and how that can... How we can partner with Rotary to make that work. So that was a really nice partnership. We also hosted Bike to Work Day. Let's see, what else did we do? Oh, we hosted the second annual Mayor's Ride. That was really fun.
Yeah.
This one was with Mayor Quintero.
And this was a Mayor's Ride that was initiated by Mayor Laura Friedman.
That's right.
Who's been a strong supporter of biking and walking in Glendale ever since she became an elected official.
Yes.
And
Laura is definitely our champion.
Yeah, and then Frank Quintero was also a very strong champion for walking and biking in Glendale as well.
That's right.
So that was the second annual Mayor's Ride with Mayor Quintero.
That's right. And I know that this is Bike Talk, but just to give a shout out to our pedestrian part of Walk by Glendale, we did do a couple of walking events that were really fun.
There's no shame in that. You can confess to these things openly. It's okay.
And we biked to the walking events. I don't know if that helps at all. But yeah, so we had our zombie walk in October, which was really fun. Also headed up by Rye because he just loved.
You have to tell us a little bit more about the zombie walk.
Sure.
This is a Halloween thing, I assume.
Zombie walk was Halloween theme, and we have just so many great. This is the benefit of being in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, etc. As we had a lot of great costume folks and makeup artists, and just invited any families in Glendale to come and join us and dress up as zombies and just walk the streets of Glendale, scaring people. And so folks would come, and then we had a woman who did a lot of makeup, and then my friend Erica is also a costume designer, so she brought some cool costumes. She brought a cool costume for me.
Are there pictures of this online?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, on our Facebook page.
So Walk Bike Glendale on Facebook.
Yes.
So if you're on Facebook, just look up Walk Bike Glendale, and you should be able to find it.
Exactly.
And there'll be a photo album there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so the zombie walk was really fun. And then also, and this is not on here, but I do want to point out that we did a pastry walk. And
I heard about that.
That was really good and fun, and I loved it.
For those of you who are not familiar, there's quite a lot of really good pastry places in Glendale. Many of which, but not all of which, are Armenian pastry places.
Yeah.
Really unusual. Not your standard donut fare.
Yeah.
We're talking something special.
Yeah, all within walking distance. So we kind of trekked around and discovered some of the cool pastry shops in Glendale. So that was a really neat accomplishment. So that was good.
Excellent.
We've also held safety classes. We worked with
bicycle safety classes.
We worked with Metro. We held the first adult safety class funded by Metro. And then also our Safe Routes to School program, we did bicycle safety rodeos for children throughout the city. So that was good. Let's see, what else have we done? Oh, this is actually really neat. We did a survey of our city council folks, asking them what their commitment to walking and biking in the city of Glendale was. And so we as a chapter could gauge which candidates we thought would be more friendly to walking and biking policies, etc.
This is because there was an election for city council last spring,
That's
correct?
Right. That's correct.
And just for anybody who's unfamiliar, as a nonprofit organization, you can't endorse a candidate,
right?
But you can pose a series of questions to all the different candidates and then let their answers sort of speak for themselves.
That's right.
Got it. So you did a candidate survey. First time that's been done in the city of Glendale.
Yeah.
Where you're asking candidates about their opinions about walking and biking.
That's right.
Got it. And what can you tell us about the result of all that?
I don't remember the result. I'm sorry, Colin. But you know what?
Putting you on the spot.
We'll ask Alec.
We'll ask Alec when he calls
Alec,
in. Okay.
We will ask him.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
No, it's okay.
So sorry. So, all right. So there was a candidate survey.
So those are a couple of the things that...
There's some pretty hotly contested seats there, so we'll definitely have to ask Alec about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alex got the 411 on all of that. And we've got more formal this last year with our chapter rules. We adopted chapter rules.
This is something that was happening with all the chapters in association with the LACBC, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So rather than just us getting together and bantering around ideas and saying, sure, let's do that, now we're a little more formal, and we take votes, and I ask for a vote when we want to spend any of our chapter money.
What? Voting?
Kind of crazy.
No, that's a good thing.
It's cool. It's cool.
Before it was just the biggest person would decide, before voting? How did that?
The biggest person. We would arm wrestle.
Yeah, it was basically whoever ended up on top of the wrestling match in the past.
I would say it was how persuasive Eric could be.
Perhaps, yeah. Now the other thing too that I know you didn't mention here that I wanted to briefly touch on because Alex showed it to me, and maybe this is something for when you have Alec call in, is this downtown business district discount program that you guys launched.
Yeah, this is really exciting, and I do want to kind of hold off until we let Alec talk about it because this was his baby. But just to give a brief preview, Glendale is really going through some fun development right now. We've got a few loft buildings that have been built in downtown Glendale, and we're anticipating, sort of younger, hip people to come and move into those loft spaces. And so Alec was really hoping to encourage more biking and walking of this new demographic by kind of networking with the local businesses and encouraging the local businesses to give discounts for those that walk and bike.
Got it.
To their business, and have a card, Walk by Glendale card. So we actually worked with a graphic designer and got a really nice piece together.
Yeah.
So
now we've just told all of it.
I know.
No, we'll let him talk about it a little bit more.
We'll let him talk about it more.
So let's see. We want to get him on the phone in a little bit, but first I think we were going to get Eric on the phone.
Yeah, let's call Eric.
Let's get Eric on the phone and have him talk to us a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Eric. How's it going?
It's going really well. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks so much for joining us, Eric. So, I already gave a little bit of the context of your relationship to Walk by Glendale, but I was hoping you could just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your involvement in Walk by Glendale and also your involvement in the Glendale Planning Commission.
Sure. Well, I was Walk by Glendale. We started as a group about 2 years ago. I was the first chair of it. Right now it's Ryberg. And our goal has always been about trying to make people want to walk and bike even more in Glendale and see the benefit of it and make it a safer place for people to do more of it. And I'm also on the Planning Commission. I'm currently just chair of it.
Oh, wait, you're chair of the Planning Commission now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. I didn't know.
Wow, congratulations. I didn't know that.
Yeah, congratulations,
Well,
Eric.
it's about to end my chairmanship probably.
Oh.
Next month we select a new person.
Ah. Well, you did a great job.
Thanks.
Very humble.
But the Planning Commission role is to advise the city on land use and zone changes and make sure projects that come up are consistent with the plans that we've adopted. Biking-related plans are the Safe and Healthy Streets Plan that was adopted a couple of years ago, thanks to a lot of the work that Colin Bogart did. And then also the bike plan that was adopted about a year after that. But really, our body is kind of passive, and it's one of the things that it compelled me to go and be more involved as an advocate, because we wait for things to come to us most of the time before we can make a recommendation.
On the Planning Commission, right, Eric?
Yeah, but on an advocacy side is we're pushing it from the community side. And that's what I really liked about it. And when I was in the Planning Commission, I've been on it for the last 4 years, and it's been great, and I've learned a lot. The first 2 years, I felt like there's more I want to do. And that's why I was really compelled to get involved with the stuff Colin's been doing and continue that and get with a group of people who we can kind of push the city from the outside and not just from the inside. So that's been a really good experience for me to be part of that. And right now the biggest thing in the planning wise, we're working on the South Glendale Community Plan. Glendale is a really big city, the third largest city in the county, and we just finished a community plan for the north area, and now we're doing South Glendale, which has probably the biggest chunk of people, about 100,000 people who live in South Glendale.
Wow.
And it's also the most walkable area and the most bikeable area because it has the downtown area in there.
Eric, what makes it the most walkable and bikeable area?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What makes it the most walkable and bikeable area?
I would say it's because it has just the most concentration of stores.
Okay.
In one area, commercial and also residential.
Okay, so co-location of...
Yeah, and it has the biggest concentration of all of the supermarkets. Where I live, it's in the downtown area, and I can walk to Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, a ton of restaurants and retail. And it's very walkable, and I think sometimes we forget how walkable it can be in Glendale. Mm-hmm. And I think it's sometimes known as a very car-centric city, and that people drive really fast, which happens, and we want to change the perception of that. And part of this planning effort for the South Glendale is going to be to make it an even more walkable area and have the plans recognize that.
Eric, can you talk a little bit about the bicycle master plan?
Yeah, the bike plan was adopted a couple of years ago, I think in 2011, around when we started as a group. And it created a plan that will guide the city as it does its repaving of streets on where our bike routes can be and where we can add actual bike lanes, sharrows, and other bike infrastructure. Of course, the bike plan that's adopted is not to the level as aggressive as we'd like it to be, but at least it creates something as a guide, and we hadn't had a plan adopted since like '95, so it's the first real plan that we can hold the city accountable for adding bike lanes and adding a lot more bike infrastructure.
Right.
It's actually in the plan. So,
and a lot of sharrows have been popping up all throughout the city of Glendale.
There's a lot happening, yeah. And we're always looking, you know, when there's a repaving project, we're always trying to see it. Can we make it an even better project?
Right.
If there's no bike lanes on it, but it's a bike route in the bike plan, we try to see if there might be community support to add bike lanes, maybe replace a travel lane for a bike lane.
Right.
So we're always looking at making it even better.
Right. And Eric, just for the folks that don't necessarily live in Glendale, what are some of the thoroughfares? I'm thinking Glen Oaks, but off the top of your head, what are some of the thoroughfares that we can recommend to anybody that wants to bike through Glendale?
Well, Glen Oaks is one of the first streets in Glendale that added bike lanes. Foothill has bike lanes thanks to Colin being here and making sure we get those.
It wasn't all me though.
We just got the Glen Oaks, the western part, the lanes heading west. We added bike lanes. Those were added just a couple months ago.
Okay.
And that's between Pacific and Louise, sort of. So those have been extended.
That was an important section, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was an interesting story because the city was going to repave that portion of Glen Oaks, and they weren't going to add bike lanes because the eastern the lanes heading east couldn't accommodate lanes. I mean, it couldn't accommodate a bike lane, but the lanes heading west could. But because it was only one direction, they just didn't put it in. And then thanks to Alex, who's also a member of us, he checked with the city and he looked at the map and realized that there is enough room to add a bike lane without even removing the travel lane. And when we brought it up, they ended up changing it. So that was just one of those things that we just check with the city staff and look at the plan and make sure what they're doing, if they can add a bike lane, to add it. That doesn't even need a removal of a travel lane. So that was an example of just talking with city staff and having that communication.
That's great. Yeah, and having the platform of Walk by Glendale really helps, right, Eric?
Absolutely.
That's great, yeah. In being able to connect with city staff and really mobilize folks around different things. I know that we've been advocating for different types of bike lanes and bike infrastructure in Glendale for a while now, and being able to have the connection to the LACBC and having that platform is really helpful.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And I guess the last thing I would say is that we have one of the biggest frontages along the LA River. After Los Angeles, Glendale has a huge frontage along the LA River, and we're really excited about the plans that have been proposed by the Army Corps to change the river into a more walking and biking friendly and outdoor friendly place, remove a lot of the concrete. And we're looking at that and trying to see how we can incorporate it with the Verdugo Wash that connects to it, and the plans that the city has to connect the bridge from Glendale to Griffith Park, going over the river. So that's like a very long-term project, but we're very excited about the potential.
Cool. All right, Eric, thanks so much for chatting with us. We're going to go ahead and give Alec a call next. So thanks for giving that prelude to Alec's role.
Sure, and everybody knows about the holiday ride we have coming up on Sunday.
Well, I was going to promote it at the end, but go ahead and promote it.
Great. Well, we have this exciting holiday ride on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. starting at Nibley Park. More info is on our website, walkbyglendale.org. And we're trying to get a lot of people to come. It's a very family-friendly, just a couple miles long, with a stop for hot chocolate.
Everybody loves hot chocolate.
Yeah, and it was actually Katie's idea 2 years ago, which is why we first started this. And it's been great, and people love it. And it's a real fun ride to check out some beautifully decorated homes and have a short ride together.
So holiday ride is next Sunday?
The 15th?
Next Sunday, December 15th,
December 15th.
at 5:30 p.m.
That's
At
right.
Nibley Park.
Nibley Park.
You look up details at walkbyglendale.org.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Eric.
All right. See you all later.
Hi, Alec.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Just fine. Thanks so much for joining us today on Bike Talk.
Of course.
So, Alec, I was hoping you could introduce yourself in your relationship to Walk by Glendale, but also how you've made Glendale a greener place to live.
Well, my name is Alec Bartrosov, and I've been a lifelong Glendale resident. I just recently joined the city's Transportation and Parking Commission and have been a volunteer with Walk by Glendale for a long time, let's say a couple of years now. And before that, I started a group called the Coalition for Green Glendale just to promote environmental awareness in the city and continue that dialogue. And through that organization, I helped start the community gardens in Glendale. So we have 3 community gardens that are part of the program and will hopefully be growing and will continue to grow. So those are kind of the ways that I've been involved with the city and you know, in the community.
And I would also mention, Alec, that because of your work with Coalition for Greener Glendale, you were flagged as a person that I needed to speak with when the Safe and Healthy Streets project first got launched. They said, you need to talk to this guy, Alec. He's great.
Yeah, I remember that conversation in that coffee shop on Broadway. It seemed like a really long time ago, but
Yes, it does.
I'm great that we made that connection.
So, Alec, I was hoping you could talk a little bit about the new development in Glendale. We mentioned it a little bit earlier in the show that some new lofts are coming in, and we'll be expecting maybe a newer, hipper demographic in Glendale soon. But I know that you know more about the details of the new developments and kind of what that could mean for walking and biking in Glendale. So I was hoping you could talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, since I started at the LA County Bike Coalition as an employee, I found that a lot of times throughout the county, places that are very bike-friendly are often places that are dense. So I'm thinking of areas like Hollywood or Santa Monica, Venice, downtown LA. These are all places that demographically have, younger folks, folks that are not so interested in driving anymore, are fed up with commute times, maybe work from home, or just like the convenience factor of biking and being healthy. And I think that we're finding that to be true in Glendale as we see these new developments downtown. And I think that's a good sign for our city because we are not seen as a bike-friendly city as it is right now.
Can you talk a little bit about that, Alec? Why are we not seen as a bike-friendly city? I know this to be true, but not everyone knows that.
So we usually top the list on categories that have to do with safety and traffic. Mm-hmm. So I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but we have a reputation, and it's verified, every time this comes out with insurance studies and safety studies, and we see it in the newspaper all the time, that Glendale historically has not been a safe place for people on the streets, whether you're a driver or a pedestrian or a bicyclist. We seem to be in the headlines for not being a very safe city. So the city is aware of that issue, and we're trying to fix that. I'm personally working on that, as a volunteer with Walk Bike Glendale, but also now as somebody on the Transportation Commission. But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential, and this issue is going to be more at the forefront of the elected officials and trying to figure out how to fix this issue when we see these new developments come online. I think there's something about 2,000 units that are now slated for development in the downtown area.
Wow, 2,000! I didn't know it was that
many.
Yeah,
and I know that there are more projects coming online now I think there are 2 more buildings that are coming online that could be 500 units each. Huh. So the downtown part of Glendale is really changing to an area that's going to be very dense, that's going to include a lot of people that are generally younger, because these buildings usually accommodate lofts or 1 bedroom, maybe 2 bedrooms at the most. So you're generally going to find people that are younger. They might be workspace, studios. And these are going to be people that can easily walk to the grocery store, to the restaurant, to a bar on Brand Boulevard. It's going to become a very walkable neighborhood for the people that move into the area. And I think with that, you're going to find more people interested in biking in the city in general.
Cool. So we mentioned this a little bit earlier, Alec, but if you could talk a little bit more about the business outreach plan, because I know that was your brainchild, and I think it's a really great way of engaging new residents as well as existing residents.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had this idea of doing outreach to businesses. I've found, as an advocate of safe walking and biking, that a lot of times we look to people like us that already walk and bike. And that's a great way to increase your base, but we also need to reach out to people that we traditionally don't reach out to. And one of the ways that we can do that is going to businesses that we as people, as bikers and walkers and drivers, go to businesses and engage with them and spend their money there. And those businesses need to know that there are dollars that come out of bicyclists and pedestrians' wallets and spend it at their business. Right. And so I came up with this idea to send out a postcard to people that are just moving into the city. And you can do this anywhere. There are developments going on all throughout the county. There are buildings popping up everywhere, and density is becoming a thing. We can partner with those new developments and nearby businesses and say, hey, look, the bread store down the corner, we have 500 people moving into your neighborhood. Why don't we promote your business and get exposure to these customers? And at the same time, we as an organization can introduce ourselves to these, likely new residents that are not, from Glendale, but are moving to Glendale, to kind of let them know that, hey, look, there's a bread store just down the street. You don't necessarily have to get into your car to, drive to the grocery store. Right. It's a very walkable and bikeable neighborhood.
Right.
So that's what we've been able to do with our postcard kind of outreach program with businesses, is we raise our profile with these businesses and let them know who we are, first of all. And at the same time, we let these new residents know who we are. So it's really a win-win. We make some money, the businesses sponsor us. And hopefully in the long run, these will be conversations that are nurtured into an eventual, more serious partnership, and then we can talk about membership benefits and so on. But it's a great way to initially engage with the business.
Cool. So the message is basically tell the people moving to the neighborhood, hey, check out these local businesses that are all within walking or biking distance of where you live. They find it more easier to get around and get to the things that they might need in the community without actually having to get in a car.
Right. And once people start to think that way and realize, this is actually convenient. I mean, we all know about Trader Joe's. Every single Trader Joe's that I can think of, it's a headache to park. So it would be great to be able to walk to a Trader Joe's or bike to a Trader Joe's and not have to worry about the hassle of getting into your car, going down to the garage, opening the gates, looking for parking. All of those minutes add up. And, it may not be obvious to some people, but those minutes in the car add stress to your life. You get frustrated. Why not just skip all that and walk and bike and get the exercise that we all need?
And get to meet your neighbors and know your community and all of those lovely things, too.
Exactly. There's no better way to get to know a community than walking or biking. You miss that aspect when you're in a car and you're going 35 miles an hour. You don't really get to engage with your surroundings.
That's right.
And I assume you have a certain amount of businesses that have engaged in this program already, but my guess is you have your sights on even more businesses in the near future.
Yeah, so we have constraints obviously with the size of the postcard, so we don't want to bombard people or desensitize people to the number of businesses on the list. So we do try to keep it to a minimum. But we did print a certain number that would correspond with new developments that are coming in. So once we extinguish that set, we'll start a new set and we'll reach out to new businesses. That's the idea. So it's something that's definitely sustainable. You can keep the template that you have and move on to new developments and new business partners. It's a really simple way to go.
Alec, is there a sample of this postcard on the Walk by Glendale website that people can see?
We don't, but people, if you guys are really interested in taking a look, you can email me. We may have a picture of it on our Facebook page.
We have a picture of it on our Facebook page. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can check it out there. We try not to post the PDF because we don't want people printing them out and using them.
Okay.
But there are pictures. There are plenty of pictures of all things Walk by Glendale on our Facebook page.
So for those who are curious, they can take a look at it. It's basically sort of a map of downtown Glendale, right?
Yes.
And it sort of shows where these businesses are and encourages people to frequent those businesses.
Yes.
Got it.
And actually, speaking of commerce and our Facebook page, just a quick shout out to both Alec and Erica Schwartz. We just developed new tote bags, Walk by Glendale tote bags that you can purchase for $20.
Oh, yeah?
And you can find out about how to purchase one of these on our Facebook page as well.
Because naturally, you're going to need something to carry that stuff with when you get there.
Exactly. That's right.
Yes, and I know the City of LA and the City of Glendale both have plastic bag ordinances that are going into effect January 1st. So it's a good way to give a gift to somebody or use it for yourself. You'll definitely need it, and you want to avoid paying that 10 cents for a paper bag.
That's right, and our tote bags are very cute. They have little bicycles on them and a Walk by Glendale handle and are made of organic cotton. And
I totally want one.
I think that we should get you one, Colin.
I'll buy one
for $20.
For sure. I'll buy at least one.
They're handmade in Glendale as well.
Handmade in Glendale.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
By one of our steering committee members.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Any other things that you're burning to tell us about, Alec?
One of the ways that Walk by Glendale has been trying to engage the public is through our relationship with the city and implementation of the bicycle master plan. So this is something that is an ongoing thing that we are not struggling with, but working with the city to make sure that the bike plan is implemented and furthering that goal of making the city more bike friendly. So we now have this what's called the infrastructure subcommittee. And we're probably going to be meeting on a quarterly basis to get an update on what the city is working on currently, how they're implementing the bicycle master plan. And we really want to encourage people to get involved in this process. We're finding that there are a few core people in the steering committee that are very passionate about this, and we certainly have our opinions about how the city should be implementing the bike plan. we definitely want to hear from other people as well. So if you happen to be a resident of Glendale or you ride your bike in Glendale frequently, we definitely want you to come on board and talk to us about the bicycle master plan and what you envision it to look like 5 years from now and how the infrastructure takes place. So that's another pet project that I've taken on, just to make sure that the city is doing what they have promised us to do or will do, and making sure that it's done properly, and that includes proper outreach to the public, so that we don't get any backlash from people who weren't expecting things. So that's another way that I encourage people to get involved as well.
Is there a tentative date for that next meeting of that body?
You'll find it on our website. I believe we're meeting next week. I don't know the date off the top of my head. It might be next week or the week after.
We'll promote it on Facebook. And as we continue to reference our Facebook page, maybe I should encourage everyone to like our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Walk Bike Glendale.
It's Walk Bike Glendale on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone like it.
And so you'd be posting information about that meeting on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
As well as, I would assume, probably on the Walk Bike Glendale page as well.
Yeah, I encourage people to like our Facebook page, like Katie said, and check out our events section. Usually we don't post the steering committee meetings on the event page, but oftentimes we do post the other meetings on the event page. So check that out and see what events are coming up.
All right.
Cool.
Terrific. Well, thanks, Alec.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Alec.
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, you're listening to Bike Talk on Kill Radio, KPFK on the podcast. And this is the second Saturday. We're pre-recording this show, but this is the second Saturday of the month, which means LACBC and its local chapters are guest host for the program. And I'm Colin Bogart. I'm the education director for the LA County Bicycle Coalition, and I'm joined here by Nick of Bike Talk. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, thank you.
And Katie Kurtz, who's the co-chair of Walk Bike Glendale.
Hi, Colin.
Hi, and that is our focus on this edition of Bike Talk is Walk Bike Glendale and what Walk Bike Glendale is up to. We just got done talking with Alec Bartrosov, and now we have Scott Lowe on the phone. Hi, Scott.
Hi, guys.
Scott.
Glad to be here on Bike Talk.
We're glad to have you on Bike Talk. Katie, you have some things that you wanted Scott to talk about.
Sure. First, I called Scott this last night, and I'll say it again. Scott's kind of the unofficial mayor of Glendale, where he knows all things Glendale and has a fabulous blog about it. So I thought he'd be a really good guest to give kind of the user perspective of what it means to walk and bike in Glendale. He's really on top of what the Glendale experience is all about. So, Scott, go ahead and take it away.
Great, I'd love to. My blog is called Tropico Station, and I focus on Glendale news, Glendale history, with kind of a sub-focus on bike and pedestrian issues. I started my blog in about 2008, and shortly after I moved to Glendale, and one of the first things I noticed, at that time I was just starting to bike regularly and kind of explore the city on foot and by bike. And one of the first things I noticed was how little cycling infrastructure Glendale had at that time. At that point, there were only about three blocks of bike lane in the entire city along Riverdale, and literally there was nothing else in all of Glendale. So that was something that I just found kind of stunning. I just assumed there would be bike lanes somewhere, and I started kind of researching it and paying attention to it, and realized there was really almost nothing in Glendale. And we were lucky to have Colin come in to Glendale with the Safe and Healthy Streets plan through the Place Grant, and he really helped Glendale get some momentum as far as its cycling infrastructure is concerned. Through my blog, I've helped organize a series of history rides with the Glendale Historical Society, going to various historical points in Glendale and helping people explore the neighborhood safely on their bikes in a safe group environment. I've also done things like to kind of fill in gaps in bike-related knowledge locally that kind of aren't covered by official maps. Like I created a guide and map for access to the LA River bike path from Glendale, because there are several hidden routes, like along the Sunny Nook Bridge or along the Glendale Riverwalk, that aren't really obvious, and there's no maps on the City of LA side or the City of Glendale side that actually show how to get to some of these really lovely spots to bike. So I've created maps on my blog and have shared those as well.
That's awesome. So can you talk about a little bit about how you document walking and biking in Glendale, and maybe give reference to some of the blog posts that you've written?
Sure. Yeah, I'm fortunate that I both live and work in Glendale. I live in South Glendale, very near the border with Atwater Village, and I work in downtown Glendale, very close to Brandon Broadway. So I'm very fortunate that whether I'm biking to work or walking around my office at lunch or walking around my neighborhood, I'm always here in Glendale, keeping an eye on new projects that are coming up. I'm always talking to people within the city about the projects that they have moving forward. One of the things I wanted to mention was the Tropico Station Neighborhood Plan, which is named after Glendale's, and my blog is also named after Glendale's historic train station, which was built in 1923 and which is currently mostly a Metrolink and Amtrak station. And it's currently a little bit underutilized, and the city is trying to integrate it more tightly with the surrounding area because there's some new residential development coming up in South Glendale, and there's a whole lovely neighborhood of single-family homes here in South Glendale that don't use the train station that much and don't integrate that well with the train station. So the Tropico Station Neighborhood Plan is a $225,000 Metro-funded planning study that promotes transit-oriented development surrounding the station specifically. So, they want to make it easier for developments to come in that take advantage of that train station that then links Glendale to the surrounding regions. So some of they're discussing new zoning regulations to encourage that, design guidelines, and infrastructure improvements. There may also be some new green spaces, bike infrastructure, like little walking loops and mini parks, to help, integrate that train station to the neighborhood in a very friendly way. So, okay, sorry, I'm blanking now.
No,
that's okay.
Well, actually, Scott, if you could just go back, you said that it's in the planning stages right now. Is that right?
Yeah, currently they're doing a lot of outreach. They've hosted the City of Glendale's Community Development and Parks Department has hosted a series of public events to try to get public feedback about it. And they've done a really nice job with it because traditionally the way the city would solicit feedback from things like this would be to go to schools or have a boardroom in a park or something like that, and they would try to get people to actually come to a quote unquote meeting. With this plan, Community Development and Parks has actually created a series of community events that are actually fun and cool, and people might actually want to go to them, with the idea that that'll get more people out. And then once they're there for that cool community event, like for instance, they had a screening of the film Double Indemnity at the Glendale train station, which is cool because the movie Double Indemnity actually has a scene that's set at the Glendale train station. And they had another event at Cerritos Park just down the street on Brand, which is a really fun community event. They had a professional soccer player, and they had music and free tacos. That was a big plus. But before you could get your free tacos, you had to fill out a survey about the types of improvements you wanted to see in your neighborhood. You had to kind of sit down and kind of map out the list of amenities that you would like to see in your neighborhood. And so they got a lot of participation, a lot of public feedback on topics that are normally considered to be kind of dry, that people don't tend to show up just to discuss unless they're complaining about them angrily.
That's funny.
And I would add to that I'm so happy to hear that the city of Glendale has sort of carried on this tradition of doing fun events that will attract people as opposed to just let's have a meeting. And I'm proud to say that largely came out of the Safe and Healthy Streets project and our collaboration with Scott and the Historical Society in doing fun bike rides and fun history-oriented walks that really got a lot of people to show up and got a lot of attention, but also provided a way to reach out to the community in a way that's very different from just, okay, we're going to have this meeting and we want you to come and yell at us about what you like or don't like, which is...
Well, yeah, and
which happens.
The demographics are very different because it's people who actually want to show up in a happy way and do fun things,
yeah.
as opposed to people who just go to public meetings.
The mindset is different, for sure.
The mindset's totally different, yeah.
Exactly.
And also, Glendale is wildly diverse and very spread out geographically. So I'm in South Glendale, as far south in Glendale as you can go, pretty much. And from my location, if you went up to Montrose, which
is where I live,
where Katie lives, and where where some members of the community were very angry about some road diet plans, that kind of thing. From where I live, it's about 6.5 miles to Montrose, if I headed north. Now, if I headed south from my spot in South Glendale, 6.5 miles, or southwest, I'd be at Hollywood and Vine. So from where I am, I'm the exact same distance from Montrose, which is part of Glendale, and from Hollywood and Vine, which is part of the city of LA. Huh. So where I live has more in common density-wise with Hollywood and with Los Feliz and Silver Lake than it does with a lot of the more suburban parts of North Glendale. And sometimes it's difficult to get the kind of city government and city planners to kind of recognize that Glendale is such a diverse place, because people tend to think of Glendale as being a highly suburban, kind of single-family home type of city, north of the 134. But south of the 134, it's actually quite urban and quite dense and walkable, which is something that I like. Yeah. But I think a lot of people in North Glendale are kind of mortified by that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good observation in terms of the diversity of Glendale and how our council folk represent some of that diversity, and why Walk Bike Glendale is such an important part of moving bike issues forward, because there can be just wide disagreement among the council about the value of bike infrastructure or making the city more bike and pedestrian friendly, where we actually had one council member say, bikes and cars don't mix. Never have them together in the same space.
And that person is our current mayor, Dave Weaver.
Yeah.
So
not to name names.
Yeah, the unofficial mayor is more bike friendly than the official mayor.
Yeah.
We're fortunate to have kind of a generally more positive mood about cycling on the council than Glendale certainly has had previously. Right. But all of the council members, every single one, comes from north of the 134 freeway. Right. They all live north of the 134 freeway and represent the interests of their constituents, who mostly live north of the 134 freeway. And so they tend to think of South Glendale as being kind of like a failed suburb, in that it got so dense and crowded and whatever else. But actually, it's its own kind of thriving, vital place. It's just different than the idyllic suburbia north of the 134 freeway.
So the 134 really is the dividing line in Glendale.
Yeah,
it is. At least until the Space 134 project gets built.
Ah, we haven't even touched on that yet. The Space 134 project, which is for anybody who's uninitiated, is a proposal to cap the 134 freeway as it goes through downtown Glendale, which is below grade, which is below street level, to cap it and basically create a sort of a park space.
Yeah. Like the High Line in New York, maybe.
Kinda. There's similar.
Freeway Park.
Yeah, I mean, there's similar proposals for the city of Ventura and also for the Hollywood Freeway going through Hollywood.
That would be really cool.
There is in La Cañada Flint Ridge, I think it is. There's already a park that's literally built right on top of a bridge that goes over the 210 freeway. Mm-hmm. So it's a similar concept. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's in the planning stages and seems to be enjoying a pretty good amount of support.
Yeah, there's a lot of really wonderful conceptual stuff that's stewing in Glendale right now, I have to say. We're just hoping that we can get everyone on board with moving it forward.
Well, the Glendale City Council voted to support the Space 134 Freeway Park project, but it's a very theoretical, like, we support this in a general sense, but are not going to allocate any money to it, because it would it would be very expensive and would have to rely on some federal funding to actually get built. But, in theory, it could be great and really help unify North and South Glendale in a way that's really positive for the neighborhood and creates more green space.
That's right.
Because they're talking about adding, public art, play areas, kind of neighborhood-scaled active recreation, and really kind of activating what is now kind of total dead space.
Right.
And that's part of Glendale's kind of general strategy right now of putting more residential development downtown, and traditionally downtown Glendale has basically like everyone shuts off the lights at about 6 o'clock, and now with the new residential development coming into downtown Glendale, they're trying to encourage people to stay out later, to go see movies, to go have dinner or drinks in downtown Glendale, and they're calling it the 18-hour downtown instead of the typical 9 to 5 downtown Glendale.
Yeah, that's right.
Rhythm.
That's right. So, Scott, we're running a little bit out of time right now, but wanted to, before we let you go, wanted to ask you if you were to talk about or talk to someone outside of Glendale, encouraging them to ride through Glendale, what streets and what places would you encourage them to go to and ride through?
To go through and ride through. I think that one of the most underrated streets to ride on in Glendale is actually Brand Boulevard, because most people tend to think of Brand Boulevard as being very scary and unsafe because it has diagonal parking, which can be scary and can be unsafe. But if you are aware of the fact that there's diagonal parking and keep your eyes looking far ahead for taillights coming out, it's actually it's reasonably wide, and it's a fairly good street to bike on because the speed limit is very low. The speed limit on Brand is actually only 25 miles an hour. So it's as far as I'm concerned, it's the only way that I ever go north to south, on a major street in Glendale, and it takes you right up to downtown Glendale where I work and where I do a lot of my playing as well. If you're less comfortable riding in urban environments, I would absolutely recommend that you check out the Glendale Riverwalk, which is over by DreamWorks near the 134 and the 5 freeway. It's really just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of infrastructure that the city of Glendale has built. They built this beautiful park right along the LA River. They've planted native plants, and they've got little picnic areas, and they even have amenities for people to ride horses there because there's horse property right there nearby, and it's very, very, very idyllic. And unfortunately, right now it's a very short length. It's something like a half a mile, but they did a really, really, really nice job with it, and you can see how if they extended that throughout more of the eastern bank of the LA River, it could really be a beautiful, beautiful project.
And that's called the Riverwalk again, right?
That's the Glendale Riverwalk, and it's actually different than the LA River Bike Path. Part of it is right across from the LA River Bike Path near Sonora, but it's actually a City of Glendale project, and it's different than the LA River Bike Path. It's on the east side of the LA River, not the west side, and it's really, really, really nice and pleasant. And if you have kids and wanted to ride with them, it'd be a great place to get started.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks so much, Scott. You're always a wealth of information.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Okay. Bye.
And you're listening once again to Bike Talk on Kill Radio, KPFK on the podcast. That was Scott Lowe of the infamous Tropico Station blog in Glendale. And if you haven't checked out that blog, it's well worth looking at. And we thank Scott for all of his work in Glendale and his collaboration with Walk Bike Glendale. This is the featured local chapter for LACBC. This edition of Bike Talk is Walk Bike Glendale, the Glendale chapter of the LA County Bicycle Coalition. And once again, for anybody who's just tuning in, I'm sitting here with Katie Kurtz, the co-chair of Walk Bike Glendale, as well as Nick, our esteemed producer of Bike Talk, operating the board for us. So, Katie, we've pretty much run the gamut, I think, of all of the things that are going on in Glendale. Mm-hmm. But maybe we should do a little quick recap of what people can look forward to in the coming months, and how they can get involved with Walk Bike Glendale.
Sure. So I'll go ahead and do a recap, but just to point out, we've always got stuff going on in Glendale, and I'd imagine that we probably didn't cover everything. So,
too true.
If you are a Glendale resident or walk or bike in Glendale frequently, please know that you're welcome to come to our steering committee meetings. We meet the second Monday of every month, and those dates are often on our website at walkbikeglendale.org.
And you meet in downtown Glendale in the community Arts
building, yes.
Which is actually part of the Orange Street parking structure.
It is.
For those of you familiar with Glendale.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so it's right off of Orange and Brand.
There you go, right near downtown Glendale.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they can get the information of exactly what time and exactly where from the website.
Yes.
Which is walkbikeglendale.org.
Walkbikeglendale.org. And then
also on the Facebook
And our Facebook, and you can even email us at walkbyglendale@gmail.com.
Oh, well, there you go.
I know, we're fancy.
We're always looking for more people to get involved in the Glendale chapter of Walk Bike Glendale, or in Walk Bike Glendale.
Yes, yes, yeah. And you can volunteer on all kinds of levels. You can be a steering committee member, or you can also just come and support some of our events, or just participate in our events. There's always a space for folks, Glendale residents and non-Glendale residents alike.
And you've heard about some of these events. Come on, zombie walks, pastry walks. And then we talked a little bit about it earlier in the program, and we should revisit that. There is a holiday ride coming up on the 15th.
That's right. The holiday ride is the 15th. It will be at 5:30. Our meetup is at Nibley Park in Glendale. That's in the Ross Moines area for those of you that know Glendale. It's kind of in the heart of Glendale, but you can just look up Nibley Park, and that'll give you some directions on how to get there.
And that's 5:30 p.m., not a.m.
Exactly.
This is not one of these early morning spandex rides.
No.
This is an evening casual kids and family bike ride, couple of miles.
Exactly right. Yeah, we'll be taking a tour through the Ross Moines area and some of the surrounding areas, just looking at pretty Christmas lights and stopping in for hot cocoa, just getting to know your neighbors and enjoying a bike ride.
That sounds like fun. I'm there.
Yes.
Hot cocoa.
Excellent.
How can you resist? Okay, so that's the next event that we've got coming up.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
We talked a little bit during the interview about this infrastructure committee. That was news to me, that there's an infrastructure committee. This is a city committee, but Walk Bike Glendale obviously is encouraging people to engage in that committee, correct?
That's correct, yes. I believe Alec is actually leading that committee, but because obviously Walk Bike Glendale has a lot going on, we have a lot of subcommittees that work on specific things. So this one is specifically working on the bicycle master plan and ensuring that the bicycle master plan gets implemented to make sure that it's in favor of cyclists.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first bike master plan that was created by the city basically sat on the shelf for a long time without much implementation, as we heard from Scott.
Right.
So we encourage people to get involved in that committee. We don't have the specific date of when that infrastructure committee meeting is going to happen, do we?
No, I believe the first meeting was November 12th, so that was last month. So my guess is that there will be another meeting in maybe next month, maybe the following.
Okay. Yeah, because I seem to remember him saying it was going to be like quarterly or something like that. So most likely January, because it's the holidays. Everybody's got a lot to do during the holidays, running around, going to parties.
This is true.
We're all busy.
Including LACBC's open house, which was really fun.
Yes, it was. I'm still recovering.
That's why we're all sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeesh.
And then what else do we have that we wanted to remind people about?
Sure. One more shout out. And actually this reminds me, we also have t-shirts. We have a Walk Bike Glendale tote bags that are hot off the sewing machine. That are available for purchase. Those are $20. There are pictures of them on our Facebook page, and you can go to our Facebook page or go ahead and email us or message us to find out how to purchase one, but they're $20. The cotton is organic. The print is adorable. It's got a bunch of cute little bikes on it. And then the handle says Walk Bike Glendale, so you can sport how you're supporting your local LACBC chapter.
I can't wait to get my hands on one of those. I really can't.
They are pretty cute.
And just as a reminder to everybody that if people want to become members of Walk Bike Glendale,
that's right.
One of the advantages of membership in any of the local chapters of the LA County Bicycle Coalition is that you actually get double membership, because when you become a member of a local chapter like Walk Bike Glendale, you are also a member of the LA County Bicycle Coalition. And the LA County Bicycle Coalition, of course, is a 501c3 nonprofit that's supported by money from its members. It's not a government agency. And so when you become a member, you support the work of both Walk Bike Glendale and the LA County Bicycle Coalition. And you also get the advantage of discounts. We're building, as LACBC in general, we're building a much broader program of discounts at local businesses. Historically, it's been lots of different bike shops around LA County will provide you with a discount as a member of the LACBC, or in this case, Walk Bike Glendale. And we're expanding it to other businesses that are not necessarily just bike-related businesses, which is something actually Alec is spearheading in a major way. So it's very exciting. So thank you so much for taking the time to come into the studio and talk with us about Walk Bike Glendale and what you guys are doing.
Thank you, Colin. This was great.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bike Talk. If you want to hear more, go to kpfk.org, navigate to Programs, and choose Bike Talk. On the Bike Talk page, click on the Archives link to play or download shows posted in the last 4 months. Go to biketalk.com and copy or click on the RSS feed link to subscribe. Our Twitter handle is BikeTalkBFK. On Facebook, we are Bike Talk. You can become friends and join our group.